Cities spell hope and create dreams. More than half the world's population now lives in towns and cities. They not only reflect the vision of their makers, but also mirror the daily struggles, anxieties, and aspirations of the millions who inhabit them. While our cities grow in leaps and bounds to accommodate our needs, there is an ever increasing demand for energy. In fact, urban areas account for 3/4 of the global energy consumption and close to 80% of the world's carbon emissions. Scientists are certain that such energy-intensive activities are changing the composition of the atmosphere. The increasing concentration of greenhouse gases in the atmosphere is altering the planet's climate and causing global warming. The primary greenhouse gases include water vapor, carbon dioxide, methane, nitrous oxide, and ozone. These gases are a natural part of our atmosphere and prevent heat from escaping into space. But human activities, such as the burning of fossil fuels like petrol, diesel, and coal, along with uncontrolled deforestation, have contributed to an abnormal and unprecedented increase in the greenhouse gases. This has escalated the occurrences of heat waves, cyclones, floods, and salinization of the coastline to unprecedented levels. According to the Global Climate Risk Index 2012, between 1991 and 2010, more than 710,000 people died as a direct consequence of 14,000 extreme weather events, and losses of more than $2.3 trillion had to be incurred. As of today, there is a real possibility of the catastrophic disruption of the fragile, life-sustaining ecological system that holds this world together. Today, India is faced with the challenge of sustaining its rapid economic growth while dealing with the global threat of climate change. The National Action Plan on Climate Change, the NAPCC, identifies measures to promote India's development objectives while also yielding co-benefits for addressing climate change effectively. It outlines a number of steps to simultaneously advance India's development and climate change-related objectives of adaptation and mitigation. The Indian government has taken several important steps to curb energy emissions in our cities. Efforts are on to maximize the utilization of renewable sources like solar energy and biogas energy, enhancing energy efficiency in public services, recycling of material and improving waste management, extending the Energy Conservation Building Code, and developing sustainable public transport, among many others. Let us examine some of these efforts by our city managers in making our cities more climate resilient in the course of their day-to-day engagements. Energy-saving experience worldwide suggests that the best targets for energy-saving activity in the commercial sector tend to be hospitals, hotels, office buildings, schools, and other institutional buildings, including airports and ports. In India, commercial buildings are a major source of electricity consumption, especially given the lack of awareness and careless usage. To meet this huge demand of electricity in public sectors as well as private sectors, great importance has been given to solar energy in the National Action Plan on Climate Change. This is justified by the fact that India is ideally situated in the equatorial sunbelt and receives abundant solar radiation the year around. The average solar insolation incident over India is about 5.5 kilowatt hours per meter square per day, which means that just 1% of India's land can meet the country's entire electricity requirement till 2030. Today, though solar energy is one of the most widely used renewable energies in the world, unfortunately in India, its presence is still very limited in spite of the support and encouragement of the Ministry of New and Renewable Energy in the form of financial subsidies on relevant gadgets. The Rajkot Municipal Corporation is an exceptional case of a city government walking the talk by going solar in its municipal offices and encouraging residents to follow the solar path to sustainable development.
Essentially, we did two things. One is that we wanted to start a pilot project in one of our zonal buildings, wherein we installed a 10 kV solar generation panels basically. Other things what we did was that we provided a provision in GDCR, General Development Control Rules, wherein the provision of the solar water heater system on the rooftop was made mandatory, and it got a tremendous response. If you can see the entire urban landscape of the Rajkot, from the rooftop you would see every rooftop at present has a solar water heater system. These 4 or 5 months of winter totally are being taken care by that solar water heater system for the entire city. So it is quite encouraging.
As of now, today, there are more than 20,000 solar water heating systems in the city. Few examples special I would like to cite here, that we have one swimming pool of 1.5 lakh liter capacity. So they are using solar water heating systems. Almost all hotels and hostel buildings especially, they are using the solar water heating systems. There are few roads developed by private developers wherein all the street lights are solar street lights. So people themselves, they are coming up now, and yes, they have started using the solar systems, both ways, thermal system and even the photovoltaic one.
Our 10 kV solar panel generation system, it took care about 20-25% energy requirement of that particular office. Encouraged by that, when we started calculating the net present value of the project, we found out that even without any subsidy, we would be able to recover the entire cost in about 6 to 7 years. And if you take into account the subsidy given by the MNRE, then our project the payback period is only 2.5 years or 3 years only. So it is very much possible and it is very much doable.
As on date, approximately 44,000 units of power have been generated since the commissioning of the project, thus resulting in net savings to the corporation of approximately 256,000 rupees. In the same year, with assistance from the Ministry of New and Renewable Energy, the Rajkot Municipal Corporation developed an energy park in the racecourse area, where exhibits like a solar water heater, solar dryer, solar cooker, etc. have been placed to spread awareness and encourage inhabitants of the city to use solar energy. In addition to this, 250 solar LED streetlights have been installed in various gardens across the city.
One proposal is under process. We are trying to make our stadium as a solar stadium. So the energy generated from the solar stadium won't be used only by the stadium, because stadium doesn't require so much of energy. So that can be compensated for the street lights. So our all street lights and all office buildings will run on solar system.
With the encouraging results from the installation of 10 kWp pilot project for close to 2 years, the Rajkot Municipal Corporation decided to install more solar power plants for its office buildings. In 2012, the corporation spent Rs 16 million to install additional 60 kWp for the West Zone office building and 50 kWp for its East Zone office building. The combined 120 kWp solar project now generates clean electrical energy worth 550 units per day. Ever since May 2012, both East and West Zone offices operate entirely on solar power. This initiative has helped conserve energy to the tune of 0.2 million kilowatt hours per annum, thereby preventing the emission of approximately 1,400 tons of carbon dioxide annually.
If it continues, the ever increasing demand continues for a longer time, it is said that there will be no electricity from the conventional sources after 20 years. If we want to protect that, prevent that, we must use the solar energy, wind energy, biogas, and whatever available and possible, so that 20 years period can be extended up to 50 or 60 years.